Most of the creations of the desert seem to veil their beauty or delicacy behind thorns, spines, bristles, stings, or fangs. Perhaps it's due to the harsh environment in which they've been reared. A mask or defense protecting and disguising their vulnerability. Today's creature is subject to such treatment in lore. A bristled beast, with sharp tusks, a strong musk, and a very short temper, capable of removing flesh from bone in a single bite. But can it be that these are just spines at the base of a delicate flower?
Hi, I'm Miguel Caldera, and I have a riddle for you. When is a pig not a pig? Give up? It's when you enter New World taxonomy. And here, in the Americas, they're called peccaries, for various taxonomical reasons of which, to be honest, aren't very clear to me. Be that as it may, I'd like to get out and see if I can get close to the collared peccary, known commonly as the javelina. Now, one thing I want to point out is the fur of the javelina. It's that real dark with the light kind of salt and pepper mixed in. Now, when you look at this this hay, it's kind of brownish, goldish in color, and you wouldn't really think, oh well, you're gonna just have black and white. That's not gonna blend you in really well. But as you get out a little bit further away, all of this here becomes more black and white because it's light with shadow, and the fur coat of the javelina will actually blend in and start looking like just piles of this. And so you don't know if it's just dead brush or if it's actually a collared peccary sitting there until if it moves. And so that's a really good color coat pattern because it ends up blending them in so well in this desert environment. So often you have these dead brush, dead grass, dead stick. And I'm gonna find, here it is. Come check this out. Now from a distance, this here is what the javelina will look like. You're gonna have this dark gray with this real light color right underneath it. And so this bush here from a distance is just going to blend into the environment. And just like the javelina, they too are going to look just like this from a distance. And it's not until they start moving that you realize what it is. In fact, I'm looking right over here and there's a bush and I keep thinking, oh no, is that a javelina? And so it does a very good job at blending them into their environment. Now these here, my friends, are javelina tracks. You can see them here, here's a good one. And these are on a game trail that are going to help us find our javelina.
Game trails are simply paths that have been created by the constant traveling of animals. They often have indicators of what creature has used it and what direction it was traveling. The trail often reveals where the creature was, and sometimes where it is.
Now what you see here is a bedding site. This is the root or the base of a mesquite tree. And it's not really a tree right now, it's more of a mesquite brush. And as you can see, all the grass around it has been just kind of killed off. It's just dirt. The javelina will come and they'll root away at the base of the trees. They'll eat the roots. But as you can see here, they've made this their nesting site. They've got some straw on it. It's just all dirt, and they'll lay there through the night, blending in to the environment. And as we go about, you're going to see several of these, and this is where we are going to find them, hopefully, if they're not too skittish.
A careful study of the trail can often reveal much information about the creature that has traveled it. Almost as much information as watching the behavior of the creature itself.
That is super fresh. It stinks. It's still moist. They were just here.
While near the ground, I was distracted by a whiptail lizard, which was unafraid of my presence. Normally shy and very fast runners, these lizards would have been out of reach at first sight. I had to know what constrained her to stay. Breakfast. She apparently caught and killed a large caterpillar. Though the first few glimpses were fleeting, I was determined to not display predatory behavior like chasing after them. Aside from humans, pumas, jaguars, and bobcats are their main predators, which would happily chase after them. Peccaries live in groups that have been known to have as many as 50 members. So seeing just one or two might be scouts which distract potential predators while the rest get away. Their first reaction is to run. If startled, they may musk or bark, and as a last resort, or if cornered, they may turn and attack their predator. Patience would be my ally, in hopes to have them accept my presence as a non-threat.
So following game trails is an easy way to come across wildlife. Now I've come across this pack of javelina. Captain Correction here. Miguel, you do know they live in herds, not packs, right? You must be nervous. I'm going to see how close they'll allow me to become, but I have to be very careful, because if these things attack, they can be pretty vicious, and they can inflict some pretty serious wounds.
As I pressed in further, the javelina seemed to be less afraid, but still wary, and more inquisitive. With a stance of challenge, the javelina began to turn the tables of our encounter, as fear of my presence had begun to diminish. Eventually, I would find myself in the middle of the herd, not knowing exactly how many there were, only that several circled, while a couple curiously stared at me. While curious, they seemed quite relaxed, carrying on in somewhat of a normal manner, stopping to gawk every now and then. The collared peccary can grow to be 2 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh up to 60 pounds. Being surrounded by them, I was very much on guard. Native to the Americas, these creatures can be found from the southwestern United States all the way down to northern Argentina. Their diet consists mainly of cactus, mesquite beans, fruit, roots and tubers, and grasses. On occasion, they have been known to eat invertebrates like grubs and worms. They have even been known, on rarer occasions, to eat small vertebrates like lizards, dead birds, and snakes. Though still wary, they seem to be tolerating my presence quite well. Witnessing such calm and natural behavior in my presence had begun to make me believe that perhaps they had accepted the fact that I was not a threat.
How amazing was that? Several peccary rooting in the grass, and I was only 5 yards from them.
But with Javelina, tolerance does not equate acceptance. And it seemed that one of them set out to make sure I understood that very clearly.
Hey, Mr. Pig. It's all right.
It's never easy to predict what a charging animal will do, but I stood my ground, and he veered off to my left. It turns out, this Javelina was just testing my resolve. And his next-door neighbor was no more welcoming than he. A mule deer doe with a fawn not far behind her.
And there we have the collared peccary, also known as a javelina. Whether it's a pig or not, that's one brave little creature. And for as ugly as they are, they're actually kind of cute. Until next time, I'm Miguel Caldera. Get out and enjoy your hunt for nature.
I enjoyed the challenge of getting close to the bristled beast, to see beyond the mask and unearth their delicate side. And my adventure was somewhat successful. Perhaps he didn't like being called a pig, but his rough response reminded me of an ancient saying. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. If nothing else, this experience comes to me as an arrow of wisdom concerning my deportment with all my surroundings.